Master Goto san. The title is Say Nothing. Project Advanced Manual Project number 1. Title is Say Nothing. トーストマスター後藤さん、お願いします。
When you want others to understand what you're thinking or how you feel, what would you do? When you want them to do something for you, what would you do? Do you pray? Do you send telepathy? Or do you stare at them until they get you? No, we talk. The best way to express your thoughts or feeling to others is talking. So naturally, the best way to give someone a strong message should be also talking. But when it comes to my dad, it is quite different. My dad was born in 1945, which is the same year when World War II ended. My dad is an old-fashioned, stubborn type of guy. He's the oldest son in the family, and my grandpa placed all the expectations on my dad to be successful in life and take over the family business. My dad and my grandpa got fallen apart because my dad was 100% sure that my dad would go enter the grandpa's company. But my dad instead entered a different company. My dad didn't follow in the grandpa's footsteps. Since that incident, my dad got much less support from my grandpa, financially and emotionally. Much less than his brother did. My dad never complained about it. He never showed his weakness to our family. And he made tough decisions by himself. Every time our family faced difficult situations. So he didn't show his weakness to us. Then, so he's a man who never complains, and he's a man who moves before talks, and he's a man, he's a very silent man, but a strong and respectful man for me. And now if my mom listened to what I just said, my mom would probably say, what are you saying? Are you crazy? What makes you think your dad is respectful? Let me tell everyone what your dad is really like. My mom is really good at complaining about my dad. So here's some routine conversation between me and my mom about my dad. For example, Mom, where has dad gone? You know I don't know it. He never tells me where to go. He never be around when I need him. And he's always around when I don't want him. Don't ask me where he is. Or, Mom, I'm home. What? What are you doing here? Why didn't you tell me you're gonna come home tonight? I told Dad that I would come drop by tonight. Your dad never told me so. We don't have dinner for you tonight. What? I drove all the way from Toyota and get here and got no food? Where's Dad? You tell me I don't know where he is! So now you see the dark side of my dad. Good job, man. Either in a good way or a bad way. My dad chooses not to talk much, basically all the time. And we all know that talking is the best way to understand each other. With saying that, I once got this life-changing message from my dad, although he said absolutely nothing. It was when I was 5th grade in elementary school. I accidentally broke a younger kid boy's front teeth while I was wrestling with him. It was totally my fault. I should have been more and more careful not to hurt him. Worst of all, what I broke was a permanent teeth, so it would never grow back again. On that very night, my dad took me to the boy's parents' house. On the way, my dad said nothing. The silence covering over us made me really scared. Dad must be really mad at me. I would get punched later. The door opened. The parents showed up. And my dad, looking at them sincerely, and said, "I am truly sorry what my son did for you. There's no excuse for it. It's all my fault." He's putting his head down to them, and he was kept saying he was sorry over and over until they finally accepted our apologies. Behind my dad, I thought, God, what have I done? I made my dad miserable. I made my dad apologize for what I have done. I let him down. On the way home, filling my eyes with full of tears, I looked down and walked helplessly. And my dad said nothing while we were walking. Even after we arrived home, he said nothing. After a while, my mom said, "Dinner's ready." I was too depressed to eat. So in my room, I sat on the floor, holding my legs and putting my face down in silence. Several minutes later, my dad came up to me, putting this big smile, and he said, "Son, let's have dinner. It would get cold." He acted as if nothing happened before, and that moment, I got his message. Ladies and gentlemen, when you feel like telling off children, please hold a second and take a good look at their faces. And if you think they are already very sorry for what they did, say nothing. Because that will be a strong message to them. The message is, "Son, I believe in you that you would never, ever do that again." My dad said nothing, and I got his message. Toastmaster.
Thank you, Goto-san. Please make a comment on